Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is D'Angela Vaughn, and if you are not new here, then welcome back to the click. So y'all see I have my hair kimono on, so y'all know that means we're about to do a hair chat, and I have not done one of these in a little minute, and I wanted to just come on here and give you guys an update about my brand new counseling license and my new job, and just kind of chit chat for a little bit. And while we're talking, I'm going to just be doing a refresh on this old Twistout that I did a week ago, and it's just a little poofy. It's been raining a lot here, so we're just going to refresh it. We don't need to do a full wash, but we are going to put some more twists in and get us a fresh Twistout. So the products that I'm going to be using are the Bounce Curl Defining Butter, as well as my Uncle Funky's Daughter Curly Magic Gel. And as y'all can see, I have the really big bottle of this because this is my favorite gel and I use a lot of it. So I was like, let me just get the big bottle. Let me stop playing. Alright, so if you have been missing the last few videos, or if you are new here, then you may not know this, but I recently graduated with my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I also recently got my license. I got my associate licensed counselor license, or the ALC, and I also got my first counseling job. So last week was orientation. Tuesday and Wednesday I had orientation, and then Thursday was like the first day that I was at my actual job the whole day. And so this week was my second week, and it was also the first week that I was actually at my place of work the whole entire week. So where I work is actually connected to a hospital. The building itself is right across the street from the hospital, but it's still under the hospital umbrella. So during the orientation, of course, they had to go over all of the hospital policies since we are technically hospital employees. And so obviously you have to go over all the HIPAA and all the security stuff, you know, all that. And they also went over like all of the benefits that we get, which are really, really good, y'all. Like, I know people always say like if you work for a hospital you get great benefits. I can attest because I have some really, really great benefits. But anyways, that's what they talked about during the orientation process. And I will say that because I'm not literally at the hospital, our rules are not quite as strict as like the hospital rules, even though on paper we're supposed to follow the hospital rules. My supervisor is like really nice, she's really chill, and I think I'm gonna really, really like working there. I just realized that I didn't even really like explain what my job position is, so let me do that. So I work at a behavioral health clinic, which is an inpatient facility. So essentially it's for patients that present to the ER and they're having some type of mental health crisis, or maybe like they just need to be monitored a little bit more closely. And so they send them over to where I work. You can't just walk up to my job and be like, hey, I need to be admitted here. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through the hospital first. You have to go through the ER, and then the ER sends you to us. So one of the things that I really love about my job is that we work as a team with the other behavioral health clinicians, aka the therapists, which is what I am. We work with the nurses, we work with the social workers, and we also work with the psychiatrists themselves. And 3 times a week, we have what is called treatment team meetings. And essentially in those meetings, the therapists are present, the doctor is present, the nurses are present, as well as like the social workers and the people that are working kind of behind the scenes with like the insurance companies and all that sort of stuff. So we're all in a room and we literally go through and discuss each and every patient. And I really love this because it makes it seem like you're not just like completely on your own trying to figure out how to help these patients. Everybody's able to give input, and I think it actually allows for the patient to get the absolute best care, because there are times where the doctor is not there. So we're the ones that are there, the therapists, the nurses, the social workers, like we're the ones that are on the floor with the patients throughout the day. And so we're able to give the doctors our clinical assessment of what's going on with the patients. And that allows the doctors to make the best decisions about their care. So I really, really like that. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, when I sat in on the first treatment team meeting, I was like, okay, this feels like deja vu. Like, it literally felt like deja vu. It felt like I was back in medical school and we were doing rounds with the doctors. That's what it felt like. But actually it felt way better because medical school rounds were actually pretty stressful, because we would have to like present the patients, and the doctors were very strict about how they wanted you to present them, and not all doctors wanted you to present the same way. Some of them let you use notes, some of them wouldn't let you use notes. Like, it was it was a lot. But I would say on this job, it is not like that at all. It's very low intensity. Nobody's stressed out. Nobody's like fumbling through what they need to say, because everybody's relaxed. And you can tell that all of the employees have a great working relationship, not only with each other, but also with the doctors. And it's just seemingly a very nice environment from what I can tell in these first 2 weeks. I will come back with an update if things change. So I have been working with a counselor that has already been working there for, I think she said 12 years. Let me go back a little bit. So the facility that I work at has 3 different units. It has the adolescent unit, it has the adult unit, and then it has what's called the dual unit. And the dual unit is for the patients that are adults with some type of mental health issue, but also substance use disorder. So they have their own separate unit, because people that have substance use problems have a whole separate set of issues that have to be addressed compared to people that do not have substance use issues. So the unit that I am working on is the adult unit. So it's not the dual and it's not the adolescent, it's the adult unit. And at first I was a little disappointed because I wanted to work with the adolescents, but there wasn't an opening at the time. But my supervisor did tell me that, you know, if anything comes open on adolescents, then I can switch over there, which was really great. But for now, I'm with the adults. And like I was saying, the lady, the counselor that I've been working with, she's been by herself on this unit for like 2 years. And y'all, I literally admire her so much, because that one unit has like 24 beds. And of course, it's not always full. It's probably most times not full, but sometimes it is full. And the fact that she had 24 patients that she was working with by herself is like so commendable. But anyways, that's who I have been working with. And I can just tell that she's like so thankful that she has new clinicians coming in that can help lower her load. And I'm coming in, and there's also another new girl that's coming in on Monday. So we're gonna have 3 of us working instead of her being completely by herself. But she has just been so helpful, and I've pretty much been up under her and just kind of learning what she does on a day-to-day basis for each patient. And I also did do a couple days of shadowing on the adolescent unit, and the 2 therapists on that unit were also really sweet and very helpful. And for the most part, the therapists do the same thing on each unit, but there are a few things that are different on the adolescent unit compared to the adult unit. And to be honest, the adolescent unit is a little bit more because you are having to deal with minors and DHR and trying to, you know, just like handle all of that stuff on the back end that's outside of just the scope of counseling itself. So in a way, I'm glad that I'm starting off on the adult unit just so I can get used to being a counselor and having a job. Cause y'all, this is my first big girl job. And I was nervous. I really was, because I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be like, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. But so far, I feel like I've been fitting in really well. She's been like the lady that's working with me on my unit. She has been turning me loose a little bit and trusting me to do some things. Like yesterday, I completed all the safety plans for the patients that were getting discharged, and I put in the notes for each one. And she was like, you've done so well. Like, thank you so much for helping me. And it made me feel so good, y'all. Like, it really did. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for this job. I'm so grateful for having people that are really experienced and willing to help me. And I think it's going to be a great experience, a great learning experience. When I did that workshop, it was like a workshop for new graduates and new ALCs. And they were saying that it's really good to start off at an agency or like a hospital, something like that, just because you have a lot of support around you. And that's super important when you're first starting off. Because let's face it, when you're first starting off, you really don't know what you're doing for real. You don't really know what you're going to run into. And at an agency, or like at my job, I can easily go to pretty much anybody and ask them, hey, how should I handle this? Because it's probably something that they've seen before. Or maybe it's a patient that they've seen before. A lot of the patients that come into our facility are there a lot. They come in and out because mental health is a lifelong battle. Substance use a lot of times is a lifelong battle. So a lot of times the nurses and the other therapists already know the patients. So I can always just go to them and say, hey, like, what works for this patient? And they can give me some tips. And although I did enjoy my internship, which was a private practice, I was working with a private practice clinician then, and I did enjoy it. But I am happy that now I'm getting a slightly different type of counseling, or a different type of counseling job, because this is something that I really haven't seen before from this angle. Of course, I've seen it from the medical student angle, but seeing it from the now clinician, mental health clinician perspective is really nice. And I think one of the main differences is the type of therapy that's required at an agency. So whereas with private practice, a lot of those clients that we had were not very sick, right? They were people that may have had some anxiety or some depression, but they were mainly needing help with just like day-to-day things. It wasn't anything that was super severe. And for the most part, they would come in once a week or every 2 weeks, and they would basically just talk to us. They would talk to us about their day, talk to us about their week, give us any updates since the last appointment, essentially. And we would just talk for an hour. That is not what I'm doing now. It's not even remotely close to what I'm doing now. These people that I'm seeing are sick. I mean, they are really, really sick. They have severe mental health issues, whether that's psychosis, which includes things like hallucinations and delusions, or severe depression that can include suicidal ideations or homicidal ideations. Like, we're dealing with people that have to be inpatient, and we're not doing hour-long sessions with them. It's just not practical in this type of environment. So what we do is brief solution-based therapy. And if you are in counseling school, then you have learned a little bit about this. But this is my first time really doing brief therapy. That wasn't really something that I ever had any experience with. But I remember when I interviewed with my supervisor, she told me that. She was like, you're going to be doing brief therapy. It's going to be a lot different from private practice, but you are going to get very, very good at what you do. You're going to get very, very efficient because essentially the job forces you to. And I think that's also really important for somebody that's fresh out of school, because it helps us to really build on those counseling skills that we learned about. And it's gonna test us, right? Like, it's a lot easier to have a conversation with somebody when they're just talking about a few issues on their job compared to a person that is really depressed or really feeling suicidal. And to be honest, that's how I like to learn. I like to kind of be thrown into the thick of things, because I know that if I can handle difficult clients or difficult patients with difficult issues, then of course I can handle any type of client outside of that. And that's probably why most counselors that you meet didn't just start off in private practice. For one thing, you have to build up your practice and you don't really have a huge clientele when you're first coming out of school. But also, you don't really have a lot of experience yet. So most people end up working at some type of agency first. Oh, and one other great thing is that my counseling supervisor, which is not the same thing as my supervisor at my job, my counseling supervisor is the one that's tied to my actual counseling license and the one that has to make sure that I'm getting all my 3,000 hours to get my independent license. So she actually works at my job as well. Right now she's working there part-time, but she used to work there full-time just like me. And now she has her own private practice and she just does like PRN work at my job. But she's there every single week. So we're able to do our supervision sessions while I'm at work. Which is so convenient and so perfect. I'm just like, everything literally feels like it's just working out and I love it. If you are interested in the counseling field and you're just trying to kind of like figure out how to get licensed or how the licensure process works, you can watch my last video or you can download my free ebook. Yes, y'all, I did my own ebook. I've never written an ebook before. It was my very first one. But I was able to do some research and figure out how to write one. And I thought how I got licensed would be a great one to start with. So if you are interested, you can go into my description box and download that completely for free. And if you have any questions or if there's anything that you guys want me to make a separate video about, please let me know in the comments. I read every single comment that you guys send me and I respond to all of them. So if you have anything that you want to say, or anything that you're wondering about, leave it down below in the comments. Alright, I finished putting all my twists in. And if you want to see the results, you can head over to my All Things Hair playlist. I have plenty of twist out videos where you can watch how my hair ends up turning out. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have not already done so, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!